Hello, everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of The Long Walk, the brand new survival thriller directed by Francis Lawrence, and it is based on a novel by the great Stephen King. This film stars Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, and Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill. The Long Walk is set in a dystopian United States ruled by a totalitarian regime. A group of young men enter an annual walking contest in which they must maintain a speed of at least 3 miles per hour or risk execution. The contest ends when only one walker remains. This is a risk that moviegoers experience when they decide to go see a Stephen King adaptation, because you don't know what you're going to get. It's either going to be really, really good, a la It Chapter 1, or really, really bad, a la The Dark Tower. There's never a in between. There's either good or bad. And so when you when you look at a film like The Long Walk, and a film where it's basically walking, well, it's not basically. There's walking for an hour and a half, nothing else. It's a big risk. It is a big risk to really invest that time and your money to go see a film where people are walking for for 90 minutes or so. But what got me excited for it, to the point where I had to go see this in the theater, was the fact that Francis Lawrence is directing this film. I've been a fan of Francis Lawrence since his video directing days. Music video directing, I should say. I just loved his style, and then when he switched over to features, I think his first one was Constantine with Keanu Reeves. I believe that was his first film. Love Constantine and the Hunger Game films and I Am Legend. He just loved dystopian film. And this is also a dystopian film. But I love his style of filmmaking. Big fan of his work. So that drew me to it. Stephen King, like I said, even the bad movies I like, that doesn't mean I don't have a corner of my heart for those stupid adaptations of his novels and short stories. It's just, the ones I don't like, I'll watch one time and that's it. That's it for me. I don't need to see it no more. But there's that. Then you have the screenwriter here, JT Mollner, who is coming off of Strange Darlings, which came out last year or the year before last. Sneaky great film. Loved Strange Darlings. I it came out of nowhere for me, but he wrote and directed that film. But he's just the writer here. So behind the camera, pretty good team. In front of the camera, also great team. Even though there are some names here that they're not gonna snatch you and say, "Oh man, this is a Cooper Hoffman film. I need to go. I need to go see this." But it's solid young actors. That in the future, these are the guys. Now, Cooper Hoffman, who stars in this film, he is the son of the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman, and it's kind of a symmetry thing here because I think Francis Lawrence, if I'm not mistaken, directed Philip Seymour Hoffman in his final film before he passed away. I could be wrong there, but it was, if it wasn't his last film, it was one of his final performances in the Hunger Games. So I thought that was pretty cool, and to have Cooper Hoffman in his first starring role be directed by the same man that directed his father's final role. I thought that was really interesting. But he did great here. I haven't seen, I think I've seen him in something else, but it was like a supporting role that he was a part of. But here he carried, I mean, you could see his dad shining through. His that talent is embedded in his DNA. He really impressed me as the lead character in this film. David Johnston, fell in love with him from Alien Romulus. Uh, there are rumors floating around that he will replace the late great Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther in the MCU, and I was kind of skeptical at first. Uh, then I kind of warmed up to it. Then I watched this, and I was all on board. I'm with it. I'm with him taking over as the Black Panther. If that's going to be a reality, I don't know. But besides that, even if he doesn't get that, he can hang his hat on this. Awesome performance as well. All of these actors. Ben Wan, I want to point him out. Ben Wang, I should say. Man, what a good performance here. And it's a small. All the actors is kind of small roles, supporting roles. But I'm pointing him out because he was so good in this role. And you think back a couple of months back when he co-starred with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio in the Karate Kid Legends movie that was so bad. That was so bad. And no fault to him, no fault to Jackie Chan, no fault to Ralph Macchio. I don't know what that movie was trying to do, but he just, nothing about that screamed that he was going to be a top star in Hollywood moving forward. But thank God he had this under his under the wings before everybody caught on, because he is great in this role. Everybody did a marvelous job. All of the walkers, so to speak, did a marvelous job in this film. Mark Hamill, he's the only one I feel that's kind of out of place, even though he didn't do a bad job. But I felt like that role could have probably went to somebody else, and it would have had a bigger impact in the end, or throughout the film. But I didn't mind his role. All I can hear was Joker from Batman the Animated Series. That's the voice he was using in this movie. But I just felt it could have had a little more weight to it if it was somebody more prestigious. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on Mark Hamill. I mean, he's basically part of a great portion of my childhood. Luke Skywalker, like I said, Joker in the Batman animated series. So I can't really get mad at him here. But I don't know. That's all I could think about when I left out the theater. Another thing, leaving out the theater, did not expect that I was going to be crying in this movie. That I was so touched, and not in a good way, if that makes any sense. I mean, there was so much emotion here, and it moved me. I mean, it was, oh my God, it was gut-wrenching. The deaths in this movie, they didn't hold anything back here, people. This was not for the faint at heart. There were some brutal deaths in this movie, and they went all in with it. But at the same time, there were some deaths that they kind of shied away from, and it was interesting choices that Francis Lawrence made to show this death and not show this death. This one will have bigger impact if we show this, and this one will have even greater impact if we don't show it and let your imagination do the work. And it was, I mean, very impactful. The choices made in this film were just phenomenal. Phenomenal. I'm just blown away by this movie. I'm blown away that this movie, as simple as a premise as it is, kids, well, teenagers or young adults, males, sign up for this contest. Gotta walk. Gotta keep pace. Last man standing wins. That's it. That's the premise. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. That's basically the premise of this movie. And it managed to keep me 100% engaged for 108 minutes. I cannot tip my hat more to the filmmakers, to the actors. to everybody involved in the production of this film. One of the best movies of 2025. I cannot express it any. I don't. I'm struggling to find a flaw in this movie. I sat on it for a couple of hours trying to find a flaw in this film. And now I brought up the Mark Hamill thing. That's more of a nitpick, not a flaw. It was good. It was a good performance. I'm trying to find it and I can't. I honestly can't. This was really, really good, emotionally impactful. It does not drag his feet, no pun intended. But it starts off. We're off to the races, if you want to say that. In the beginning of the movie, we don't take 30 minutes in the beginning to set up every character that's a part of this contest and all this here. The movie starts and we're at the starting line with these characters, and as the movie progresses, we get the development of all of these characters who are on this road, their motivations for being on this road, for different reasons and man, I can't wait to this get some time under his belt so I can really go in depth with it, talk more in depth about this movie, because there's so much about this movie I want to say, but I don't want to spoil it because they're major spoilers in this movie that will kind of shock and surprise you, because I was shocked and surprised, and it takes a lot in film to shock and surprise me, but this movie managed to do it. And man, I can't express my gratitude enough. The Long Walk gets a letter grade of an A. Yeah, man. It's one of the best of the year. Honestly, I did not expect it. Just thought it was going to be throwaway viewing, but it wasn't. It really, really made an impact. And kudos to Francis Lawrence, hey, Stephen King. Stephen King finally got a good adaptation of some of his work. Congratulations to the great Stephen King. Did you check out The Long Walk? And if you did you go to the theater that had the treadmills? I read this online. I don't think any theater down here where I live had it. Even if they did, I wasn't going to do it. But they have treadmills, and you do the walk throughout the whole film, and it's paced. They set the treadmills at that 3 mile per hour speed. And so you got to do it the whole movie while you watching the movie. I would love to hear from somebody who did that. And that not only is brutal, but secondly, man, did you last? Did you last to the end? I would love to know. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of The Long Walk. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.